y'all, welcome to my channel. Today you're going to be getting ready with me for work while we talk about paying off debt, saving, and budgeting. So without further ado, let's get into it because I do not have much time. I have to go to work. Please subscribe to this channel if you're new here, and let's get into it. So I do a pretty simple, basic makeup for work, and honestly it's not even about the makeup today because we're gonna dive right into budgeting and saving and how I've honestly have made some changes this year in 2025. Now it's only February 4th, but I started making these changes in December, and honestly y'all, it has really changed the game for me in understanding why it's so important to save, understanding budgeting. Like, I think I finally, at the age of 31 years old, understand budgeting, which is big because I feel like when you're young, I live by this narrative, like, as long as I have money coming in, I'm not always kind of concerned about, like, if I'm ever going to have money or not, you know, like, or if I'm going to be able to pay this or not, or if I'm going to be able to go here or not, because I have money coming in. So, like, generally, like, I don't mind spending, right? So I have let go of that because that is a very negative, toxic way to live, especially during these times where, you know, in a new era of life, especially in 2025, and we don't know what's going to happen. You know, prices are about to start skyrocketing, and, you know, I think I'm finally at the space where I just want to kind of see my money in the bank versus it always going out. For me, like I said before, I've kind of always lived by, like, as long as I have money coming in, I'm good, right? Like, I'm good. Like, I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to, you know, figure out a way, no matter if it's like putting it on a credit card, putting, you know, like putting it on something where I didn't have the cash at hand. A lot of times I did have the cash at hand and I would just use it for that. I feel like one thing I will say that social media has really tainted the mind, because instead of you seeing a lot of videos on, like, you know, how to save, why you should be saving, like millions of videos on that. No, there are videos about, like, how to be a consumer, like, buy this shoe, look at these shoes, look at this new piece of jewelry, like, oh, you got to get this before it sells out. Like, that is the era that we live in right now. And it's kind of always been that way. Honestly, if you think about it, we've always lived in this space where buy it now, you need it now to wear with that outfit, to do this, to do that. And so, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if you got it like that, it's fine. But, like, if you're in the beginning stages and you're trying to save and you haven't hit those goals, because I feel like we all have different goals, right? Of where we want to be in life, where we want to see our bank accounts. And it's like, if you have not hit those goals, I shouldn't be online being sucked in by all these retailers and stuff like that just want you to spend. I think, you know, for me, it kind of always started like back in the day when I first started, like, on YouTube, right? I was so obsessed with makeup, and y'all, when I tell y'all, if an eyeshadow palette came out and I had my little money from my job, I was spending it on that eyeshadow palette, that $50-$60 eyeshadow palette that I literally probably only used one time before another eyeshadow palette came out. And it's to this day where I have, I mean, stacks of eyeshadow palettes. And let me tell you how many I use to this day. 0. Y'all, I use one color. This little matte color that I've had, that is the only eyeshadow I use. But as you can see, like, this happens not only with, like, makeup. This has happened with shoes, like things that come out, clothes, shoes. Like, this is like, this world is really out to get you. And I hate to say it, it really is, because unless you have, like, a strong, like, standing of, like, I'm not going to do it unless I have my goal of what I want in my bank account and I don't have a lot of debt, because I feel like a lot of people have, like, it's really hard for you to find somebody that has 0 debt. And that's just because that person just doesn't spend anything, like anything. Because a lot of times you can have a car, even though you're paying on your car, you're not something that's a burden to you, it's still a debt. So student loans are a debt, you know. So unless you just have, like, literally no bills, then you have debt. So I think, like, it's kind of balancing what debt you're gonna take on. And, you know, for me, you know, starting back in December, I just started looking at my account, and I started looking at like my credit card bills, and I was just like, Alexis, like something has to shift. I started looking at my bills, and like it was just like, girl, like how are you ever going to move to the next level? And when I say move to the next level, I mean like I've really have had this piece of me that has always wanted to start investing. It's investing in many ways, right? It's investing in like IRA bonds. It's investing in, you know, stocks. It's investing in like real estate. Like I've had these goals. And so every year I always say like, by the end of the year, I'm going to do this. And then I start spending and spending and spending. And then by the end of the year, I'm looking at my account and I'm like, girl, girl, what is going on? Are you okay? Are you okay? And then when I look around in my closets and stuff like that, I see myself every year getting rid of stuff. Oh, I don't like this anymore. I don't like this anymore. And then like at the end of last year, it all started to shift for me. Like, Alexis, what are you doing? Like, this is where your money been going. This is why you ain't got no money. Between this and food and wanting to take a trip and, you know, do this stuff, like, you gotta choose one until you get to that point in your life where all of that is budgeted for. All of that you can afford without thinking twice. All of that money you have in your account without having to say, oh yeah, I'll have that in the next 2 weeks, or I'll have that in a month or two. I ain't even worried about it. Like, no, that is not the way. Like, that is that consumer toxicity that I feel like, you know, that this world kind of traps you in. Like, feeling like you have to have it now, feeling like it's the last thing, so if you don't get it now, you're gonna miss it. A very toxic way to live. And it's sad because I ain't gonna even lie to you, it's a lot of cute stuff out there. It is. And you honestly have to be really strong. And I feel like going into 2025, I've just decided that I can no longer be in a space of, you know, with everything that's changing, everybody don't, like, there's no, you know, like, I feel like going into this, some people thought, okay, I know, oh, it's gonna be great, it's gonna work out. But as you can already see, 2 weeks in, it may not work out like how some people thought. And so I think everybody is on edge at this point. And I think that when people are on edge, they do some crazy things, you know, and it's a scary time. It is a scary time. And so therefore, I'm just kind of like, what can I control? You know I go to work every day. I know I put my, you know I receive a check. I know I have my business that brings in income too. So it's like figuring out how to balance all that. I feel like even when you know, and I think I can even talk about this, when you even have a business, like you feel like, oh yeah, I need to invest in, I need to get more things for my business. And honestly, as a business owner coming into her second year of owning her business, I have realized, hold out, wait before expanding your inventory if that's, you know, if that's something that you have. Because girl, unless that customer is outright paying for it, hold off. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to hold stuff that you're probably not going to use for months and months and maybe years. You know, like, you don't need all the bells and whistles in the beginning. Stack your money and hold out. And when you start to make a sufficient amount of income with your business, then that's when you spend. And spend in, like, you can spend in little spurts. You don't have to, oh, you get the check like, oh, it's time for me to buy this for my business. Like, no, because that'll get you broke too. Because if the customers and the clients are not coming in like you thought, guess what's going to happen? Those items are going to sit there. Those things are going to sit there. So I get it when it comes to investing in your business, but you got to be careful with that too, because I do think, you know, from my experience, that can be tricky. Because, you know, I've had times where I had something like a lump sum of like a money that I've gotten in, you know, from, you know, my business, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Okay, let me invest in this, and this. And it's like, no, girl, choose one or two and then put it up, you know? So I think 31 years, I've learned so much, and I've learned how to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and say, is this really what I need? Is this really worth it? Am I making the right decision? And so plan my attack plan. And let me just share that with you, because I feel like I see videos like this, but they don't really talk about the attack. Like, how you going to attack this debt? How you going to get it away? So the way that I said that I was going to attack it this year, let me spray this. So I have an emergency fund set away, or like if anything ever happened, you know, I can lean on that. I do feel like when you're in the process of trying to pay off debt and really trying to get it paid off fast, you really cannot focus on saving because you got to pay off the debt, you know? So, and that's just my mantra. Like, that's just the way I think of it. You know, some people think of it different. They're like, oh, you can save, but girl, can you really? Because while you up there stacking that money, you still got all this debt. And then if it is affecting your credit, guess what's happening? Yeah, you got money, but when they look at your credit, you're not going to be able to do anything, sweetie. You know, and that's real. That's real. And I feel like people don't talk about that. They're like, yeah, girl, stack your money, stack your money. Girl, let's look at this debt. As Americans, unfortunately, we thrive off of our credit scores, and we thrive off of like getting, you know, having the perfect A1 credit score. And if you're trying to buy a car, buy a house, you can't do anything with no bad credit, even if you have the money. Now they're going to be taking your money because they want more, because they see that you don't have good credit. So with all that being said, my way of doing this year is to really come at it in a sense of, let's get this debt paid off as quickly as possible. And at the same time, let's also figure out other ways to bring in income that don't cause you to have to come out of your pocket and spending money. So I've been doing just a lot of research, and honestly, I haven't really figured out what that additional income will be. And I think that's kind of where I'm stuck at, because you know, you get online, you see all these videos like, yeah, I made $100,000 doing this, I made $100,000 doing that, girl. And you start doing it and you don't reap none of the benefits. And you know, it's discouraging because you're like, but they said. And so like, I have no way to even say to you like, girl, yeah, do this and this is how you're gonna make it. No. Because when you start a business, especially like a service business, that money ain't yours. Ooh, 9 times out of 10, you're paying yourself back for the money that you spent trying to start the business. Paying for websites, paying for all this stuff. So like in the beginning, that money is not yours. You're just paying yourself back, you know, and then saving a little extra that you have for the next thing to come. My attack plan is to like really focus on paying off the debt. So like I get paid every 2 weeks, right? And so I've said to myself, every 2 weeks, Alexis, you're going to be paying off a credit card. Like you're going to be paying off a credit card. Okay. And I've had to like really look at my bills, and I feel like it's just kind of based off like what bills you have coming in. I've looked at the interest rates. I've looked at like when things are due. I looked at if things have late fees, and the kind of the way I'm attacking it is if they ain't got a late fee, and this is just my plan, they're going to wait. Now, it will be paid within that 30 days for sure. But if they saying, okay, pay this by this date, then that's kind of how I'm like starting to attack it. You know, I don't want any late payments, especially out of my credit. You don't want that, because that, while you're in the process of building yourself, that will put you in an even worse situation. So if anything, like, if you hear anything saying, oh, we're going to report to the credit bureau, flag that. You don't want nothing reporting to nothing other than you saying that you're paying something off. Now, you know, if something is in collections, it's almost non-existent to me, because that's not my fault. That was when I was young. That's not the me. That was the old me. That was the old me. That's not the new me. So I can't address things that was in the old me. The new me is addressing, you know, what's in front of me. And if it is, you know, if I'm still paying on it to this day or whatever, because it's like a credit card or whatnot, then we're working to address it. So yeah, my goal is to every month until I get this debt down. And when I say down, I mean down. Is to really focus on paying off a credit card. Like if not every check, every other check. I am saving big time. And how I'm able to do that is because I stopped shopping. Y'all, I told myself back in December, Zara had a sale. And I was like, okay, where do you go the most? You go to work the most, right? I started thinking about what was coming up. My birthday, this, and this. And I was like, look, get what you need right now. They got a little sale going on. Save you some coins or whatever. Get what you need right now and then cut it off, Alexis. And so that's literally what I did. Now, of course, I buy groceries. I bought like some hair glue because I needed it. Like little things that I would call necessity things. But other than that, like all that shopping, going online, buying shoes, buying this, buying that, girl, I cut it off. And that, I feel like that is really big for me. Coming from the person that would be like, if it's a pair of shoes, I'm gonna get it. I don't care if it's $9, $12, $1,300, it's mine. And so I think I'm finally growing up, and And I think that, you know, hopefully by the end of this year, my debt is down and then I can actually start to save. I've been wanting to. I think, you know, like I think I said this before, is that I just really truly believe like you can't really start saving like you want to and start investing like you want to when you have a ton of debt on your back. You just cannot. You just cannot, because, you know, a lot of times with investing, you're taking a chance, right? And your chance is that you possibly might use that money, or like investing, especially in like stocks and stuff like that. A lot of times you don't see that money coming back to you quickly. So a lot of times that money has to sit. And if you don't really even have the money to even give in the first place, you ain't got time to be letting no money sit, honey. You don't have time. You need that money in your account so you can survive. So hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be able to make 3 large investments. And, in the meantime, still looking for a way to bring in additional income to where it doesn't cause me to, one, have to like leave my house. Because I think that that's another thing. Like, I already work and I already have a business. And so, I was watching this guy named Myron. I can't think of his name, but he does like these motivational speeches and stuff. And one thing he was saying, he was like, when you start making money while you sleep, pretty much, that's when you're doing it big. And I think that's what I feel like I'm at the point now, because, the body ain't as young as it used to be. So getting up and, being able to go hustle and bustle and do all that type of stuff, the body ain't doing that no more. Like, it's tired. And when I'm off from work or I'm not doing something with my, event planning business, I want to be doing nothing. So seeing that I want to bring in additional income, in addition to my business, into my current business, is like, okay, what can I do that won't cause me to have to like show up somewhere? Like, I can do it from home. I think that is what I can manage right now. And so that's kind of what I've been looking into. Again, I don't know what that is. Like, it's so hard nowadays. Like, everybody always says, like, start a social media, like, get on social media. And girl, that ain't easy either. None of this is easy. I think everybody that, ends up making like all this money, where everything is by chance. It's not as easy as it may seem. Like, people are telling you about the other end of it, but they're not really telling you how, like, especially on social media, how where they're at was all based off luck. There was really no strategy. There was really no plan. They woke up one day and people started to love them, or people started to buy, don't let people feed you oh yeah, because, they're this, they're that. Like, no. Unless you just popped up and you was on reality TV and people started to know you from there. All these people that you see online, your favorite this, your favorite that, it all happened by chance. It all happened by God's will. It wasn't because they did this 5,000 times a day. They did this, they made sure to like, no, it wasn't because of that. So I am done with my makeup. Hopefully this is like simple, basic. This is what I do for work. Let me go get dressed and then I'll come back. All right, y'all. So this is the final look. I'm going to pop in a little quick video of my outfit so you can get the full visual of what I'm wearing today. I just want to say, y'all, thank you for watching. If you're going through this same kind of time in life that I am, where you're trying to budget, you're trying to save, you're trying to invest, you're trying to do all things right now, and you're just trying to figure it all out, please, let's chat about it below. That is all for today, y'all. I will see y'all later, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.